our Bengaluru campus. A special hello to everyone who's joining us via the Investor Relations webcast. Today's proceedings are being recorded, and the audio transcript and the presentations will be made available soon on our website. So we request you not to take pictures or record the sessions while they're going on. Before we begin, I have some important housekeeping announcements. On your tables, you will find the agenda, an important information sheet, and the feedback forms. Please follow the timings in the agenda to help us keep the day running smoothly. The important information sheet also has the Wi-Fi details. We request you to fill in the feedback forms after every session. If you need any assistance, we have volunteers around wearing Infosys ID cards. Please reach out. Please take note of the nearest emergency exits on both sides of this room. They are clearly marked. In case of an unlikely emergency, please follow the signage and volunteer instructions. Restrooms are also outside this hall on both sides. Signage and volunteers will guide you. Kindly access charging stations on both sides of the room for charging your electronic devices. Please note, we will not be taking questions at the end of each session. There will be a question and answer session at the very end of this event, so please hold on to your questions till then. For departures in the evening, airport coaches have been arranged for the ones who wish to avail them. Please note that the first coach for airport transfers leaves at 4:45 p.m. A second coach will leave at 5 p.m. Those who have flights at 8 p.m. are requested to take the 4:45 p.m. coach, considering famous Bangalore traffic. Please inform the help desk just outside this hall if you need an airport transfer earlier than 4:45 p.m. And lastly, I request you all to put your devices on silent mode. Thank you. With that, let's start today's program. For our first session on tech transitions, why is the AI transition different? Please welcome Nandan Nilekani, Chairman of the Board, Infosys.
Thank you, and great to have you all here in these tumultuous times. Today, I'll talk about tech transitions. I have had the fortune or misfortune of being in this industry for more than 40 years, and I've seen a lot of transitions. So I thought I'll talk about less about that and more about why this time it's different and what are the implications of this transition. Now, safe harbor clause. Now, we have seen technology shifts, for centuries, whether the printing press or telegraph. But over the last, 60, 70 years, we have seen a much faster change and PCs, cloud, Gen AI, Agentic AI, and so on. So change of technology and the speed of change has been a constant for many decades now. And each time there's a change, the way we address that change has been different. So we went from mainframes to mini computers, to PCs, client server, LAN, web computing, mobile, enterprise apps, big data. And each time we had to think of it in different ways. How do you think of it in terms of making it globally available through internet, or how do you do enterprise IT? So each time there was a tech transition, it had certain implications for us. And firms like Infosys had to deal with what was new. So we are used to the fact that each time there's something different. This time, the AI transition has been much faster than earlier transitions. If you look at the number of years it took to reach 1 billion users, internet took more than 10 years, smartphones took 5 years, AI is taking a couple of years. Now, you have to realize that the AI speed is because of the first two things. Because internet was already ubiquitous, smartphones were already ubiquitous. It therefore allowed people to distribute a ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude very easily. So in some sense, the speed of AI is also because of the infrastructure of the previous era. Now, what has happened this time is that this is a much more fundamental change to the way businesses will operate. So this is not a layer of technology. When we had, when smartphones came, we could build applications where instead of having a PC, you did it on the phone. It was like putting a front end to an existing application. When cloud came, we could do a lift and shift. You could take the app from your in-prem and move it to the cloud. So you could do a lot of things to get going. But this time, it's not that. This is a fundamental change in the way we do things. Obviously, there's a technology dimension, and it's all about having AI native architecture. But there's a whole business dimension to this. We cannot run business the old way. And businesses have to change, the customer journeys have to change, all those things have to change. It's a huge challenge for talent. Talent will have to deal with a world where writing code will not be the goal. It'll be actually making AI work, orchestration, and those kind of things. So the jobs will change. And operating model, how do we make this at scale? How do you get a firm with hundreds of employees to change all the things and make it work? And of course, our mental models have to change, because we work, technology was always deterministic. You said A plus B equal to C. So no matter how many times you said A plus B, the answer was C. In this AI world, every time you give a prompt, you'll probably get a different answer. And therefore, how do you deal with this non-deterministic world? But how do you make sure what you build has the robustness, reliability, and resilience of the deterministic world? That's what the challenge is for everybody. So this is a fundamental root and branch surgery of the way business is done, which is why this technology transition is so dramatically different from anything else that we have seen. Now, one clear learning we have is modernization of legacy systems cannot be deferred anymore. What happened over the last 60, 70 years is people would not replace the legacy systems, they just added to it. So if you go and look under the hood of a large enterprise, they will have mainframes from 1960, they'll have mini computers from 1980, they'll have LAN from 2000, they'll have all kinds of things, and all coexisting in silos. That is over. If you really want a firm to take advantage of AI, you have to fundamentally clean this up. So this is a massive, massive cleanup job which everybody is dealing with. There are reasons for that. One is the financial drain. Many large companies are spending 60 to 80% of their IT spend on maintaining systems. There's no business value out of that. They want to go from 60% or 70% maintenance and 30% new systems to 30% or 40% maintenance and 60, 70% new systems. They want to flip the way they spend money, but they can't do that with that fundamental cleanup they need. Moreover, many of these systems were designed in an era before you could have online attacks and so on. So security breaches, which you see every day, are just going up everywhere, and there are more state and non-state actors who are getting better at it using AI. So security is a huge problem for everyone. We have seen so many cases in the last few months. And because the data is all in silos, you can't even innovate fast. You don't have to be. So there are fundamental structural issues today we have. So demand side is absolutely demanding modernization. But the good news is, for the first time, because of AI, we have the tools now to do modernization fast and very quickly, and at a much more economic way. So we have a huge demand, and we have the ability now to do it, and perhaps our team will talk about that. So fundamentally, accumulated tech debt over decades must be paid. You no longer have the option to defer this. And this is a huge, huge requirement, and obviously it's a huge opportunity for us. Now, the other thing which is there is, as AI becomes a bigger part of the spend, the balance of advantage is moving towards build rather than buy. And that is actually what is, if you see some of the concerns about what will happen to SaaS companies and all that, it's because of this, that building applications has become so simple that very often you may just build, or you may replace something that you have which you bought and with something to be built. And so we are seeing, and that again actually benefits folks like us, because about building, who's going to build it for them? It's going to be us only who will build it for them. So fundamentally, it's good for us. And the other thing which is there is that our view is that foundational systems will increasingly become systems of record, but the interface will be agentic, because agentic interface makes a lot of sense. Agentic interface allows people to produce something which is designed pro-consumer or pro-user, and agentic interface enables you to take out the complexity and hide it behind the agent, so the agent is simple to use. It's a very simple idea. Now, enterprises will therefore want to put agentic layers on top of all their applications, even if they leave the system of record the same. And that is something which will be a combination of bought out agents as well as building their own agents, because finally the agents have to be composable in a customer journey which is seamless, which is a mix of agents which are your own or from somebody else. Again, that requires orchestration and work which somebody has to do. So there's a huge amount of work required once they go towards build rather than buy. Now, the other thing is the pace of change is something which obviously we have not seen. We all know about the trillions of dollars being spent and all that. But even the technological change, I mean, 2023 Foundation Frontier model had 100 billion parameters. Today it has 1 trillion parameters. There are only 10 to 12 agent networks. There are 60 agent networks. So this is only going to go up. In the US alone, there are at least 5 frontier models. In China, there are big 4 or big 5. So this is only going to go up. In India, we have seen so much action, and you'll see some big announcements this week on Indian-based sovereign models. So I think this is something. Now, there are certain implications of this, because if I'm a businessman and I have to choose my technology, how do I make sure I don't make the wrong choice? Because something which I invest in today may have fallen behind tomorrow. Already people are facing this reality. And therefore, how do you architect your technology so that you can deal with this rapid change is a very fundamental and structural need for enterprises. And again, they need help on that from somebody who has done this in 2,000 locations and understands the pros and cons of every approach. But the main thing is that the technology is far ahead of its deployment. Because of this race and spending billions and some AGI and all that, the technology is moving faster than the ability of enterprises to deploy it. If you look at this chart, you can see that the model performance is going up, but the progress in implementing is not really. Because implementing this is hard stuff. Fundamentally, it's about organizational change, business change, retraining your people, thinking about non-deterministic approaches, changing your data so it's no longer in silos. So fundamentally, we have a situation where there's a deployment gap between the power of the technology and the capacity of businesses to use this. So if you guys think that some better product has come, nothing's going to happen, because the problem is here, not there. You get it? It's about how fast companies can implement, so you have to look at that. And this is, we call this the deployment gap, but this is actually a concept by Professor Clayton Christensen at Harvard 25 years back. He called it technology overshoot, where technology gets ahead of the need. And in fact, he argues that that's how newcomers come, because newcomers can then launch new products that are not as sophisticated, but good enough for customers. And Satya, in his recent blog, talked about model overhang, which is the same idea. Fundamentally, the tech will keep getting better and better because billions are going to be poured into it. There's a massive competition, but enterprise deployment is not going to go up. And this deployment gap is what we can help to address. So again, it's a very important point. Now, I think talent transformation is huge. It's not that you will need talent, but it will go from QA testing or development. We have all kinds of new roles: AI engineers, forward deployment engineers, AI leads, forensic analysts, data analysts. So fundamentally, the challenge will be, how do you take your workforce and make sure that they are reskilled and ready for the new business? And that's really the challenge that all the firms will face. And this is something, so there will be roles. Now, the way you hire will change, the way you train will change, the way you deploy will change. All that is going to happen. And I think we'll have sessions on that. But fundamentally, there will be a need for people, but they'll be doing different things. Also, a lot of the talk of productivity is greenfield. Writing greenfield is not a big deal. I can take a tool and give it to a kid and he'll generate a million lines of code. But that's not the real world. The real world is the fact that companies have trillions of dollars invested in their systems. They have technical debt. They have data silos. They don't have documents. Somebody was telling me the other day that there are some old systems, and on contract they have guys as old as me, 70, 75-year-old guys, because nobody else knows what the hell is going on. And then, when there's a crisis to be sorted out, they're pulled in from Phoenix or Florida or wherever they are, and they have to solve problems, and nobody else knows how to solve. So we have that kind of situation out there, undocumented dependencies. So taking brownfield systems and modernizing them is a hell of a lot more difficult than doing greenfield development. And a lot of us get biased because all the guys who talk about productivity are talking about greenfield development. And therefore, getting these large enterprise organizations' productivity going. Also, AI implementation requires laser focus. The very fact that you can generate stuff means you can generate slop. In fact, 5 years from now, there'll be more AI legacy systems than any other legacy system. All kind of stuff will have been generated, and we'll have to clean that up also. So, and if an organization is not, you can have this fake productivity. Let's say there are two guys, and they are having a fight. One guy will draft an email, which will be one paragraph. He will give it to AI to make it into a 10-paragraph email because he wants to impress the other guy. The other guy will take the 10-paragraph email and summarize it to one paragraph. So both have used AI, but what have we achieved? Nothing. So how do we make sure AI is used? And therefore, you need usage guidelines, you need quality gates, you need explainability. So how do you make sure that AI investments lead to real performance and productivity and not just some make-believe stuff? This is something which is very important. So what still matters? First principle thinking. One of the things when we train people is they have to learn to do this without tools. Because all of us learned to do this without tools. So when we got the tools, we knew how to use those tools better. But if you start by teaching them tools, then everything is a black box. Then, it's like the guy who never knows how to calculate because he was born with a calculator. So first principle thinking is very important. All the more important as you think about strategic transformation of large enterprises. First principle thinking is very important. Second, understanding enterprise context. Every company is different. Every company has a different legacy. Every company has different systems. Some of them have come from acquisition. Some have come because they have 5 business units all buying their own version of technology. All kinds of reasons. Everybody has a complex estate of systems. And context is essential to being successful at AI deployment. And each context is different. And it's the dealing with these contexts that is the hard part, which is where, again, we believe we have a way of doing that. I'll give you an example. The self-driving cars. The first DARPA challenge was 2004. The first time they rolled out was 2007, 20 years back. Then everybody said, oh yeah, by next year we'll have self-driving cars. It's 20 years later, all we have is a few cities in America where there's self-driving cars. Because the context is different. Every city is different. Every road is different. And by the time they come to Bangalore, it'll be 2047. Because they're dealing with Bangalore traffic, it'll be a different level of context. So enterprise context is so important. And that is something which cannot be done by a tool. It has to be done by capturing implicit knowledge and making it explicit. Agnostic design. Again, what I mean here is don't get locked into a tool, because that tool may no longer be, it may be obsolete in 2 years. So how do you design for agnostic that you can choose any system? Getting the house in order. We talked about removing technical debt. We have to go make the house in order for this whole thing. And then massive change management. You're changing organization, business structure, people. I mean, this is like unbelievable change management. So unless you have leaders who can do effective change, nothing is going to happen. It's also about strong collaboration across firms. So firms have to, because all the knowledge is implicit in the heads of different people, how do you make that explicit in one customer journey? Focus on productivity. It's not about using AI tools. It's about productivity out of those tools. Otherwise, you'll get false productivity, which leads to more complications. And then this is an engineering game. AI engineering is a whole way of doing things. And that is part of your change management and transition that you have to do. And that's a big thing. So my view is there is no opportunity gap. If anything, the opportunity is bigger than ever before. So don't get distracted by that. You should still ask the question, what is the firm doing to take advantage of this? What is the firm doing to transform its talent for this new world? What is the firm doing to design the services and products for this new world? What are they doing to tell the customer in a way that it resonates? What are they doing to make sure that the front-end conversations with clients are done properly? These are all the issues, and I'm sure everybody will not execute the same way. So there is an execution risk in doing that. So it is not an opportunity risk. It's an execution risk. You get it? And therefore, the balance of assessment is how do we know that each firm has the execution plan ready to get to where they have to get? Are they able to do it well? Are they able to do it with speed? Are they able to do it with scale? Are they able to do it with new mindsets? That is really the question of the day that all of you need to ask. So I'm hoping that today you will hear from our team and it'll give you some reassurance that we are on the right track. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nandan. For our next session on the AI services opportunity, please welcome Salil Parekh, Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director, Infosys.
So good morning and welcome. I think with that session from Nandan, I'm sure you have a lot of clarity and a vision of where the industry is going, where AI is going, and what are the real issues that one needs to look at. I want to share in the next few minutes where we see the opportunity today in AI services and how we are planning to go after it. In fact, already how we are going after it, and give you examples of that. So first, one of the things we've learned again and again is what we see from our clients is that our clients trust Infosys in driving and delivering AI work. And throughout the day, we want to share with you several client examples. Here are a few quotes. The first one from the CEO of a large telco, where we are doing extensive amount of AI work, and how he sees the value that Infosys brings. Another one from a COO, another one from a CIO. And these are the sorts of examples that drive how we have built our approach, how we are executing on the AI journey. So today, we are doing AI work for 90% of our large 200 clients. So this is not something which is just here and there in pilots. In terms of the scale, it's across many things. It's small and large parts of large programs with large clients. What we have now done is introduced a way to look at what we are doing through an AI-first value framework. And this framework we are putting together in this hexagon, which I will share in a few minutes in some detail what we are driving through with it. We essentially see 6 large areas where there's growth opportunity for AI services. And I'll go through this in a little bit. We will also have each of our different leaders from their different perspectives, give you specific examples in each area. First, AI strategy and engineering. This is really the area where we do a lot of strategic work You will in fact see one of the client examples I shared where a CEO is engaging with us. There are several others we will share later. And you'll see some videos of this as well. So we are doing a lot more AI strategy work. Infosys is a lot more engaged at that level because AI is central in that sense to all of those conversations. But the building of agents, the orchestrating of what the platforms are, what the agents are, which are agents which are built by Infosys, which are agents built by clients, which are agents built by third party, and how to make all of that come together. Second is data for AI. Data is absolutely critical, as I'm sure most of you already have seen. Each large enterprise is protecting its data. No one in the enterprise world, unlike in the consumer world, is sharing data broadly with the AI foundation models. Everyone is building their own data, and there's a lot of work to be done to make enterprise data ready for AI in this new era. The third is process, where a lot of business process that exists today, whether it was technology enabled or whether it was not, is being driven by agents into new worlds. One of the biggest areas we see here, of course, is customer service. And the customer service business case is driving huge change in how process is going to change with the AI world. The next, again, you heard from Nandan, the legacy modernization piece. This is a massive, large opportunity that we are seeing. In addition to customer service, one of the largest opportunities, where we are essentially taking large legacy organizations. We'll actually share a couple of examples of this, of the work we're doing at scale, and bringing them into away from the legacy landscape into the modern landscape. Physical AI is something quite new, where AI software is embedded into devices, and that is becoming a growth area because everything will have AI built into it. And then AI trust, which is both about the trust and cyber, but it's also about responsible AI, which is something where Infosys is leading in making sure that things are built with a view to keep responsibility in mind in the scaling of IT systems. So these are the 6 new areas that we are seeing. This is a large opportunity set, and this is where we see a lot of the growth coming. Now, here are some examples of clients we are already working with. Throughout the day, in a little bit more depth, each of the leaders from Infosys will share 1 or 2 client examples. We will also have some videos to sort of have the client share from their perspective how Infosys has supported them in this AI journey. So what I'm showing you in the hexagon, in the AI value framework, is not theoretical. This is things that are actually happening on the ground with Infosys. This is what we are executing. And this for us today represents 5.5% of our revenue in Q3. And it's growing at a robust pace. And this is something which is extremely dynamic. It is something that is working extremely well with our clients. Now, this at the high level of 6 big blocks is something that we have as a visual of hexagon. But within the company, we then break it down to 30 offerings. And then those get broken down to 100 sub-offerings. And each of those are things that are being enabled with our engineers and with agents built on Topaz, which we will talk a little bit more about later on, and with partnerships. You saw one of the announcements this morning, but we are working with each of the large AI players in very close coordination to make our clients more successful. And all of this is the way we are now going to our clients. So each client discussion today is focused on the hexagon plus the 30 plus the 100. And what is it that we can now work with you as a client executive to make it real for you, the AI benefit, whether it's for revenue growth, whether it's for cost optimization, whether it's for innovation. So our entire go-to-market team, all of our segment leaders, all of our practice sales leadership are working with clients with this format to make sure that the AI becomes more and more embedded into the work that we're doing with clients. And this is sort of pulling back a little bit, we've always talked about navigate your next. This is how we are looking at the journey. The navigate your next is change because technology changes, and this next is about AI. It was different in the previous navigate your next, but the navigate your next concept, the client relevance remains the same. Where we are coming from today, the issues that Nandan shared, where we are going in the future, what the opportunities are, and what are our strengths. Our strength is absolutely clear, the understanding of what the client landscape is. There are some clients that we work with where we have probably as good an understanding of their landscape as some of the client teams have. And this makes a huge difference in how we navigate through that through our AI toolkit. Our domain knowledge, our engineering talent, which with our training, I've always believed is one of the best that there is, and the platform and IP that we have built, which again we will highlight a little bit later today. Now, there is a dynamic in AI services which all of you know and we understand. One, there's a huge opportunity. The one that I mentioned, the 6 areas with an external analysis, we understand that the opportunities between $300 and $400 billion in the year getting to 2030. So over that time frame, at that time in 2030. At the same time, we have several entities have made estimates. We have our own views. The AI productivity leads to compression in IT services. However, today we have a clear view that the opportunity is massive and large, and that will become the driving force of what we will grow and drive through in the next coming years. Now, in putting all this together, we have created our own playbook, and this is essentially what we want to share with you in depth today in each segment of the day. Of course, my vision and objective is that we unlock all of the AI value for our clients, and we are absolutely on our path to drive that. There's one set of discussions on the new services, what we are calling AI first. So with our delivery leadership, with our segment leadership, we will share with you what it means, where we are doing it, what are the examples, what are the benefits. Then we have AI augmented services, where we are taking all of our services and making sure that AI is infused into it to become even more relevant for clients. And again, our delivery leadership will share with you some examples of where that's working and how we are doing that. And then we have foundational components, our platform, our IP, what we built in Topaz Fabric, which we want to share with you in a little bit more detail. We have a set of agents that we've already built that are ready to deploy. We have things that we can drive with our clients to build their own platforms. So showcase that. Our partnership ecosystem, this is extremely critical in this new era. And the partners are not only the partners that existed in the past. There are some new partners, both large and small, that are extremely relevant. And we already have a very strong ecosystem and a way to go to market with those partners. Our talent and culture, which we think is critical, and how we are reshaping it. We are going through a huge reskilling process. As you've seen from the announcements over the last several quarters, our approach has always been on reskilling and making sure that our team that we have builds up to the new, and we are recruiting. We continue with our recruitment. We have recruited 20,000 college graduates this year, and through March, that will be the number. And next financial year, we also have a plan to recruit 20,000 college graduates. But we want to talk about the talent and culture approach we have. And then on the brand, we have a leading brand in the market. Our brand is one of the fastest growing. And what are we doing to keep that or do even better in the brand in the AI world? That's how we are actually getting a lot more connects with the CEO client base, which is what you need to succeed in the AI world. So that's our playbook, and we will showcase that to you throughout the day. With that, I will close and I will pass it on to our delivery leadership team to go ahead with the rest of the presentations. We'll, of course, come back at the end of the day, Jayesh and I, to discuss your questions and give you some more views on where see things are going. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Salil. For our next session on the AI Services Playbook, which is by three leaders, I would like to welcome Satish Etsi, Chief Delivery Officer, for the first part.
Let me set the context before we deep dive into our Infosys AI playbook. Every tech shift, whether it is PCs, internet, cloud, digital, each one of them led to rewiring of enterprise work and workflows. And AI is the next rewrite. Here's a typical uh, enterprise landscape. Sounds complex. This is one of the simpler ones. A typical enterprise will be far more complex because of the scale, because of the fragmentation, internal and external, the heterogeneity and the divergence of the operating model and the regulation with which it operates in, which is by design, by the way, and of course, technology debt. So AI in enterprise is not just about low-hanging fruits like localized efficiency or user productivity. Integrating AI in an enterprise is not just a software upgrade or a plugin. If it was that simple in such a huge complexity, no surprise that AI projects fail. Then what is it about? It's about harnessing the full potential. It's about reimagination of systems, processes, and deeply embedded ways of working and rewiring legacy power structures. So Infosys has done this enterprise rewrite with each of the past tech shifts, and we are now doing the next enterprise rewrite with AI. So let's look at how is the enterprise tech stack changing. Typically, it consists of the systems of record, which deliver deterministic, programmatic capabilities, which are codified, structured processes, and enforced policies. And this delivers governance, accountability, and compliance. We have systems of intelligence, which facilitate engagement, collaboration, transactions, but usually it is the humans who engage with data and the workflows. Above the enterprise stack lies a vast non-deterministic or non-programmed flows. These are unique, unstructured, they need novel problem solving, it needs experience, gut feel, and is usually handled by humans. This is the layer which is underserved today, and this is ripe for AI-led transformation. So it's a myth that enterprises need just two layers, which is AI and data. Is enterprise an algorithm? How should we harness AI then? AI is not the end game of tech transformations. It's just another one, but it's a giant leap in raw capability. And it's not system complete. So we need a multi-layer transformational approach and purposeful orchestration to harness the potential of AI. This is why AI diffusion in an enterprise lacks the rate of AI adoption, and it needs time. So how is AI transforming the enterprise stack? What is this enterprise rewrite about? The co-intelligence of humans plus machines will be seamlessly shared across the layers so that every layer gets reinforced within the enterprise stack. The systems of record need acceleration so that the business and operational processes can become more efficient. The systems of intelligence needs a seamless integration of structured and unstructured data so that intelligence can be wired into user journeys, business processes, transactions, and decision making. It is estimated that 60% of effort in an AI project goes into doing this. The models will come in later. And this requires deep industry knowledge and context of the enterprise. Encoding intelligence and AI in the flows leads to more automation and autonomy. And this is leading to the development of a new layer within an enterprise stack, which is what we call as the systems of cognitive work within an enterprise. As an outcome, humans will shift from acting on data directly to a governance and oversight role on flows and decisions. All the new AI tools that keep coming at us at fast pace will get plugged into the systems of new cognitive uh, work, and it will accelerate the reimagination of an enterprise or its flows and decisions. Infosys will unlock tech debt and complexity and harness the power of AI to be enterprise grade and bridge the evolution adoption gap and expand our addressable market. So, how do we monetize this? Our playbook reflects the structural changes necessary in our industry so that we drive value at the intersection of intelligence, engineering, and domain. With AI, capability is a commodity because it's available to all. Sustainable mode for an enterprise can be created by deep integration in specialized workflows and unlocking unique organization knowledge and context. So every enterprise has got unique data, processes, risks, and complexity. And AI will not unlock uniformly across the enterprises because of this variance. So our client intimacy and deep understanding of our client will help us, or context will help us mitigate this and unlock value and also drive culture and change. So we have built an engineering approach in our delivery where we can codify enterprise context, which will help accelerating scaling of AI. And this also enables enterprises to retain and protect this unique enterprise context within their four walls of the enterprise so that they can keep their competitive differentiation, and this is not diffused into the AI models. Our depth in engineering and frameworks and IP and patents will accelerate AI readiness and adoption with our Topaz fabric and our specialized talent uh, in the form of full stack and FDEs. For a financial services client, they were looking for an AI partner. When we started talking to them, we realized that they have a very strong enterprise AI platform that they have built. But then what we realized was they had an adoption gap, and we pulled out our agent control framework, as we call it, which would address the quality of code that is being generated, which would address the AI slop, which led to a poor adoption within their organization. So now we are working with them on taking our framework and fortifying their enterprise AI platform so that we can accelerate that journey. We have embarked on a talent transformation journey to build an ambidextrous workforce, which is deep in engineering and creative in reimagining uh, work and workflows from first principles. We see new opportunities with domain stack. We have over 25 years of industry focus experience. And when co-intelligence connects with agentic economy, the play of AI elevates from how work is done to new outcomes that are possible. So we are invested in building the domain stack powered by our depth in domain and knowledge of how to deeply integrate AI tools and plugins into the flow. We have created strong differentiation in our services stack. AI is now integral to how we deliver every service. Our services stack is powered by Topaz Fabric. We now have an approach to productize and reimagine work and workflows that will lead to a human plus agent model. We are also seeing momentum with new deal archetypes. Legacy modernization with reduced risk, higher predictability on cost, and accelerated timeline. Large deals with integrated ops and tech and transformation wired in. Organization transformation encompassing enterprise stack and people. This includes the AI-first GCC approach, which we have pioneered in the market. We have also elevated our play to take end-to-end accountability from strategy to actionable roadmap to execution and eventually outcomes. We have expertise in delivering both above the line, which is business value, and below the line, which is efficiency. Infosys is best equipped to deliver enterprise AI ambition with the power of our client intimacy and our AI playbook. A quick example, here is a client, a CPG, who had an ambition of growing their revenue to 7 billion. They came to us to bridge their ambition and deliver a AI operating model so that we'll have an actionable roadmap and execute to it with executive AI value office, along with managing risk, governance, and assurance. We used our Infosys IP and built their unified data foundation. We built their enterprise agentic AI platform with the requisite guardrails. This enabled them to rapidly innovate and diffuse AI across their functions. Today, they have 10 agentic AI products in the business across different functions from R&D, sales, marketing. Above the line, with the agents that we developed in research and R&D for product formulation, they now have line of sight to 50 million revenue, which they didn't have before. Below the line, we've been able to unlock 25 million cost savings through just optimizing operational work. And then beyond this, we were also able to deliver 40% of business productivity improvement in functions like procurement and marketing. Thank you.
Thank you, Satish. For the next part of this session, I would like to invite Dinesh Rao, Chief Delivery Officer.
Thank you, Simran. I'm audible. Thank you, Simran, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for sparing your time here today. As we navigate the landscape changes with respect to AI, I think our priority in the last 6 months to a year has been how do we accelerate our customers from experimentation to really looking at an AI scalable at industry level. Now, AI as a technology is as good as what it can really understand from orchestration across systems of record, which Satish alluded to, ability to really understand the complex business processes and navigate, and most importantly, how does it even get to understand a deep-seated legacy systems that are there? And frankly, looking at all the complexities that we had with respect to some of the estates that we've been working as well as with the customers, we decided to codify our entire services across 6 strategic pillars. And these 6 strategic pillars are all integrated. In a way, a customer who wants to start the journey of AI adoption has to look at each one of them and see how does it, and our intent is to take this strategic pillar to walk them through this entire journey of scaling the AI. Now, let me start with the pillar number 1, the AI strategy and engineering. Nandan alluded to it, so as Salil, organizations are extremely complex. One needs to really look at it top down, looking at how do I really create an AI blueprint, a need of really setting up an AI transformation office, What would that mean? I need to first understand which business units, which business processes that I would be able to unlock the AI value. You can't really be spraying across the AI in multiple different business units. Now, that is a very key thing because that's where the value realization framework of Infosys comes to bear to look at how do I map the process to the value that it actually arrives with. Now, the second key thing is how do I change the ways of working? Because you have so many models, so many platforms that have come by. One needs to really put together a very technology centric AI platform with the models that it needs to go with, the governance that it has to happen, and how do we make sure that we diffuse this particular platform across multiple layers of the organization so that we have one standard way of really looking at how do I scale the AI. The third layer, obviously, is to really looking at the entire governance model that you need to put together in a way this AI is gone very strongly. The last one, obviously, is to really look at a purposeful selection of an AI infrastructure where you also need to continuously keep an eye on what would happen to my AI ops. Very recently, we've been working with the CEO as well as at the board of Danske Bank, where we really started working with them to looking at how do I enable this bank towards the journey of being AI first and digital first. So we set up an AI office along with the board, working along with the CEO to really put together a strategy all the way to engineering, augmented that with innovation labs, as well as identification of core processes like KYC, the fraud detection, credit, and whatnot. So in a way, the journey is just not that I would start doing software development, but it needs to have a top-down view of really setting up the strategy for an organization. Now, the second pillar, my friends, data is everything that AI needs. Today, organizations have multiple pools of data sitting. It is just not structured data. It is, in fact, even unstructured data, multiple modes in terms of videos, in terms of speeches and whatnot, to an extent of about 60 to 80%. And today, the most of the time is spent on data in all our projects. Data is one which accelerates your AI journey or potentially could also decelerate your entire velocity of how you're going to do it. So our frameworks here today is to really look at, help our customers try and harness the data, transform the data, bring them all under one uniform data fabric. And it just doesn't sit there. At the end of the day, data also have to drive intelligence. The intelligence can be driven only by connecting the semantics and the ontology on top of it. And that's a very elaborate process one needs to go through because the processes are different by region, by business units, and it has been all codified in systems of records as well as in systems of experience. And that's a humongous job. The third layer there is to really look at how do I govern the data, because the data fingerprinting is extremely critical as you really look at who would get the access of data so that, in some sense, there is a framework if you really look at. So in one of the large industrial manufacturers where it was 10 petabyte of data that we had to really bring in all together, harness it, as well as create the semantic ontology today, help them actually drive the supply chain optimization by over 20 to 30%. Now, the third pillar, Nandan alluded to this. This is all of reimagining the entire business processes. Most of the large enterprises today have point-to-point solution. One need to really look at in the context of domain and reimagine the entire business processes. And these processes have to be reimagined with respect to how a human intuition works along with the AI and agent. And it is extremely critical that every workflow by persona has to be reimagined and has to be codified the way AI would actually come by. Now, this also has to be contextual to the business and the regions where you really work by. You just can't take a sourcing and a procurement process and say that it is a domain that it could be applied to every industry. It has to be really be contextualized to the industry and the business that you are really looking at. And most importantly, since it's going to change and touch every one of us, it has to also be looked at how do I operationalize the entire workflow, the technology, and the change management all put together to really help realize the end-to-end value. We've been now with Toyota Motors Europe working through a supply chain transformation process where we took our industry asset of automobile, on top of it, the entire agentic playbook, really looked at by persona of a buyer, a planner, or a customer service agent, and really double-click to look at what does this transformation really mean. And just to look at one critical process of dropship, which is so critical for an automobile is to really bring in agent and orchestration there to really take away all the manual work and bring in much better inventory visibility. Now, the fourth pillar, obviously, is modernization, and everybody has talked about it. It's the Achilles heel of our large organizations. Today, there is so much of tech debt sitting there. The code is obsolete. There is no written documentations. There are no availability of SMEs today. And it's not that the customers did not really try to do the legacy modernization, but the ROI and the time it took never stacked up in the past technologies. So what AI models, as well as powered by our Topaz fabric today, enables is to make sure that we transition some of these large legacy, both on the data as well as on process side, into the most modern cloud-based microservices architecture. And today, it does stack up, and you would hear one of the examples very soon. Now, physical AI is something we believe is at the cusp of really accelerating the AI journey. Whatever intelligence that we all thought and built as a part of the digital workflow is finally now moving towards the actual physical objects. And this, friends, helps the acceleration of AI in a lot of the products that we really look at. Some of the key cases that we really look at is in terms of data first, the new product introduction, wherein the entire process would be reimagined, as well as infused with AI. The products have to be defined or designed with AI in the front, and with more and more products with the software bomb being larger than actually the physical and the mechanical, we have a huge play in terms of embedding the AI as we look ahead. The second case is the intelligence today, the real-time intelligence is moving from cloud to the edge. Now, this will help accelerate the decision-making at the edge, which means vehicles, the industry operations, running infrastructure, all of this would actually increase the advancement and usage of AI. And lastly, the autonomous systems today, the prevalence in a lot of industries as well as areas is continuously keep increasing. Towards that, we see that we accelerate the journey of actually infusing the AI in the physical. And here I also want to draw your attention to the two acquisitions that we did. One, Insemi, which meant the silicon design as well as validation. The other one, an Intech on the automobile, directly fits exactly into this particular pillar, where it would help us bring more context as well as acceleration in terms of enabling the physical AI. The last, ladies and gentlemen, is not the least, and the most important is the trust and the governance. If I today ask everybody here who has used the AI, I'm sure that all of you would raise your hand. But how many of you really trust the output that came by? I'm not sure whether everybody would raise their hand, because there are hallucinations, there are model breaches, and there are also governance issues with respect to the new AI Act and etc. coming in. So in a way, the trust has to permeate through all the other 5 layers for us to really make sure that we have the output that comes in an enterprise which is trustworthy. To me, the trustworthy AI in every enterprise would be a huge differentiator. So we want to build the trust to our customers, and we want to monetize the trust for our customers. Now, having looked at all these 6 important strategic pillars, right, I just want to dwell on one of the cases, Nova Chemicals. They are a large petrochemical manufacturer based out of Canada and US. And it's a very asset intensive. As you know, the industrial operations is extremely complex. If an asset goes down, they would have an impact on the top line and the bottom line. In the current context, most of what they were doing with respect to maintenance was all manual, logs, and etc. So we were invited to a program in smart maintenance, where we actually brought in the data across their machinery, their OEM manuals, their maintenance manual, the historical data, the log data, and etc., to help a planner to really, with a simple NLP on a chatbot, would be able to guide them on what part of the industrial operations have to really go through a maintenance. And the most importantly, we were also able to actually bring in orchestration with Agent AI, where the OT systems and the IT systems come together. So seamlessly, we were able to really move towards actually creating the entire work order process, the planning process, which actually moves over from OT systems to the SAP or the ERP that we have. And we see the impact of bringing huge planning efficiency, asset utilization, and etc. Of course, here we partner with Microsoft, and we used all the stack of the entire Azure to really make it come to life. The last case I want to really dwell is about Hertz. I'm sure that all of you know it's a very large mobility organization where we are today, as we speak, embarking on really modernizing their entire reservation, their fleet management, their pricing, and the whole thing, which today is approximately 3 million lines of code actually sitting on a tandem computer. And I would like to play the video. Let's hear from the customer on what their experience has been and what we have done with respect to this journey.
So where are we right now? We are in a journey to modernize legacy platforms. And let me tell you a story. About 6 months back, my CIO at that time, and we traveled about four cities in 5 days in 3 different locations. We actually met 4 partners, and each and every partner was given the same problem. Take this 10 pieces of COBOL program and tell me how are you going to convert it. This COBOL programs were running on the non-stop, right? And I think you might have heard about HP non-stop, or it's also called the tandem. These programs were running on the non-stop. Three partners, 3 vendors gave me the typical, oh, we will do analysis, we will do design, we'll do unit testing, I'm like, no, that's not of interest. The day we walked into the Infosys office, in the first 1 hour, they showed me a working prototype, working model of the converted code, right? No presentations. I was not interested in PPTs. I wanted to see a working model, right? And that is what actually impressed us to partner with Infosys. So if you think about what we did, they have a platform called iLead. iLead helped us do the documentation. These programs have been existing for the last 20, 25 years. Right? As you can imagine, a non-stop has been in operation for the last 25 years. Documentation doesn't exist. Nobody knows why a program was written. Nobody knows how to test a migrated COBOL program, right? Nobody knows what scale to test it at. So the documentation actually helped me big time to say program A talks to program B, talks to program C. It also showed me the database dependencies, the table dependencies, right? So in one sheet of paper, I could now see that a given program, what it was dependent on, as well as the tables. So obviously we are a part of a journey where we are migrating. We are about 6 months into a journey. Without the iLead platform, I think we were taking about 4 years to convert. With the iLead platform, I think we are targeting about 18 months.
So the important point to note is models are there. I think workflows are there, but our context of Hertz in terms of what their processes are, how the code has been written, how the existing architecture is, and what is the new modular architecture that we need to really help them migrate to is the context that this iLead brings to bear. And that is very critical as we really look at this entire legacy modernization. So that, ladies and gentlemen, summarizes the 6 value pools that we're talking about. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dinesh. For the last part of this session, I would like to invite Balakrishna DR, Head of Global Services.
Thank you, Simran. So my colleagues, Dinesh and Satish, talked about AI for services, which is new value pool that is being created out of AI. What I am going to be talking about is AI augmented services. What we mean by that is taking our traditional services and infusing AI in that, and we want to be a leader in this space as well, and I will talk about how we are doing that. So we have taken each of our services that we actually traditionally provide, whether it is application development, testing, modernization, migration, engineering services, right, operations, business operations. So 20 plus services that we actually provide, and we have created detailed playbooks of how we can use AI in transforming the way we deliver these services. When we are doing this, we are partnering with the best of the technology that is out there. We are working with models, leading models from Anthropic, from OpenAI, from Gemini, from Amazon Nova. And in fact, we have also working with open source models, right? Open source models like DeepSeek, Llama, and we have even created our own coding model in this space, perhaps the only GSI that has actually created a coding model. So we use a combination of these models in our engagements. So in the Hertz example that you actually saw, we in fact used two models. We used a Claude model that actually generates the code. And one of the things about LLMs are they're better in critiquing output than generating output. So we used a OpenAI model to critique that output, and that's how we actually improved the accuracy. So one is the models, the second is the tools. And in the tools, we are working again with the leading tools. GitHub Copilot was the first, and it had almost 100% of the market share. We 2 years back, we set up a GitHub COE that was inaugurated by the CEO of GitHub. And then we are still ranked the #1 GSI in terms of GitHub adoption. Just a few months back, we got this award as the leading GSI for working on GitHub. But just not GitHub. We are working with Anthropic. We are working with Gemini. We are working on we are working on the models from Anthropic CLI. We are working on the new age models, right? Whether Devin from Cognition or also we are working with Cursor.ai that you would have recently seen. So we are working with the leading models. We are working with the leading tools. But then again, as my colleagues also talked about, a lot of these models don't understand the enterprise context. They don't understand the standards that are there in the enterprise. They don't know other libraries that are there, other programs that are there. So we have to do a lot to actually bring that context into the tools that we are actually using, right? So we do that by creating MCP registries. We create a knowledge graph of the enterprise context, and we combine that. In the recently, the release that we just did with Anthropic, you hear Dario talking about that. They need Infosys to bring the enterprise context onto the models, and that is what we actually do. In addition to that, we have actually created agents specifically for each kind of services. So in application development, we have taken the life cycle and said we need agents for requirements, design, architecture, etc. And we have created 100 such agents that we are using in each of our services. In addition to that, we have to create other tools, right? You saw in the Hertz example, the LLM models can't digest huge pieces of code at one time, right? Some of these enterprises that work with have millions of lines of code. If you give that to the LLM, they start to hallucinate. So you have to chunk the code. You have to create graphs, call graphs on how these are actually associated. And that's when you get better output from LLM. So we have created all of these assets that are part of our Topaz fabric, which my colleague Rafi will actually talk about in more detail in the next section. In spite of doing all this, we need talent, right? And sometimes people ask me, if LLMs are generating code, why do you need people? Why do you need developers anymore, right? And I think they asked the same question to Boris Cherny from Anthropic, because Anthropic is continuing to hire developers. So somebody on X asked him, why does Anthropic, if Cloud Code can actually generate code, why are you still hiring software developers? And his response was that engineering is changing, but great engineers are a requirement still, and in fact, the most important requirement going ahead. And that is something that we also actually believe, right? The way that we actually deliver code or the way we support our applications may change, but still you need great talent. And so what we are doing is to take each of our developers and training them on AI. So we have 90% of our developers that have been trained on AI. It will never become 100% since we are always hiring new people into the stream. But our intent is to actually have everybody be able to use AI in their daily work. In addition, we need specialized roles, right? Forward deployment engineers that will create the platforms that the teams will actually use. And then we have created COEs for each of the partnerships that we have. So it is a combination of all of these that actually helps us deliver our AI-induced services. It is the blueprints, it is the technology, our own technology, plus the leading technology that is out there and the people that we actually create. The way we are going to market is also, as you saw in the Hertz example, it is not about PPTs anymore. It is about actual demos, and that is what we see creates the impact, and that's how we actually go to market in all of our large deals. I will talk about a couple of examples of how we are using it in actual programs that we are executing, right? What better example than Microsoft, who is in the leading edge of this kind of technology adoption, creating the technologies and also adopting this technology. So in Microsoft, we have a 360 degrees partnership. What we mean by that is that we go to market with Microsoft. We are one of the big customers of Microsoft. We also are, Microsoft is our customer. We provided services to Microsoft and we do multiple engagements with them, but I'll give you a couple of examples of what we are doing. Microsoft themselves are going through a big transformation. They are going with, they're going to, from enterprise agreements, they're going to what they call MCAs, Master Customer Agreements. What this means is that through the Master Customer Agreement, they want to eliminate all the paperwork that they had to deal with in the enterprise agreement. They also are talking about evergreening the licenses. So enterprise agreements had only 2 years a time frame. This is perpetual agreement that you can use for multiple years. Enterprise agreements had a minimum seat count of 250. This actually has no minimum seat count. In addition, in MCAs, you are able to monitor your usage, adapt your usage. You bill based on your usage, you get a very flexible billing. So multiple advantages for the customers of Microsoft by using this agreement. And also for Microsoft itself, it actually eliminates, because you're not having papers and documents anymore, it eliminates and accelerates the way they go to market and also the operations that they have, right? On this engagement, they had to build the IT system to manage all of this. So Infosys is actually working with them to build that. We used all the technologies that I actually talked about, and we are getting 2x developer velocity and 35% improvement in the time to market. The other engagement that we are working with Microsoft is on their intelligent cloud, right? So as you know, this includes Azure and Microsoft Office. They carry a lot of mission critical systems of Microsoft customers on these clouds, right? And it is important for Microsoft that for these mission critical applications that there is no downtime and then it is actually trustworthy, right? So Infosys is again providing support for Microsoft on this. And the way that we have used AI is that AI agents today monitor the logs and predict issues before they actually happen. And they give all of this intelligence, and which we call triaging, and then we route it to a specific support engineer with the information so that they can actually work on it before the issue actually happens. So this is for both reactive and proactive issues. And so you can see that we get 40% improvement in the incident response and 10x improvement in the RCA turnaround. So there are several such examples, right? The other example that I have here is Danske. Danske has a Forward 28 strategy where they're looking at modernizing their entire landscape. They want to bring process efficiency, and they want to completely create it as a digital bank. So you must have seen the press release where they've chosen Infosys for this transformation, and we are helping them on the AI strategy and transformation as well. And we are doing everything from AI strategy to implementation. We have set up an innovation lab for them, and we are creating multiple AI solution work streams. So we are using Agentic AI in the code development, more than 2 million lines of code that we have generated. But then again, these lines of code that we generate has to be validated, and that's what our engineers have been trained to actually do. And 97% of the engineers are using that. In addition, we have created multiple AI solutions. They wanted to use ChatGPT, but they wanted the guardrails. So we created Enterprise ChatGPT, which has over 16,000 users. They created other solutions on risk and right HR, which have been quite successful. We'll hear from the customer itself. If we can play the video.
GenAI is already live today in Danske Bank. We have 20 use cases from the most basic assistance to the more advanced agentic solutions. We've invested a lot in adoption by cultivating the right behaviors to deliver new ways of working so that people use GenAI both effectively and responsibly. At an enterprise level, tools such as our internal chatbot, Danske GPT, is used widely across the bank. Working with partners like Infosys, we're not just adopting this technology, we're actually helping to define what good, responsible GenAI looks like at scale in banking.
With this, I'll hand it back to Simran. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bali. For our next session on Infosys Topaz Fabric and AI Next, AI Platform Suite, please welcome Rafi Taraftar, our Chief Technology Officer.
Over the next 10 minutes, I'll cover how we are going to power AI-first services and AI augmented services using our IP and platforms. Now, earlier during the day, we heard about the complexity with enterprise landscapes. And when I think about enterprise landscapes, I think about city maps. You know, every city is different. The map for each of these cities are very different. Now, if I bring any AI model, any tool, any platform, the only way to accelerate is by creating runways within an enterprise that can help us accelerate AI adoption from pilots to hundreds of projects. And that's where Infosys Topaz comes in. And we do it in 5 different ways. First, we have created a rapid experimentation and innovation infrastructure where our teams, working with our clients, evaluate the latest developments that are happening in the AI space. They look at all the noise that is happening and identify tech that is relevant. They then build proof of values that are very relevant for their business. And then they demonstrate the art of possible in very, very rapid manner. And today, there are about 39 such innovation labs that we are running with our clients across the globe. Second, we take a very value-centric approach in how we look at the end-to-end process, because over the last few years, we have realized that use cases cannot deliver significant value. And this is where we are bringing the 25 plus industry blueprints we have in order to come with already reimagined business and IT workflows that we can use with our clients to accelerate. So today, when our consulting teams, what they do is they sit with our clients, they understand the problems, then they use the product discovery and vibing tool from our Topaz Fabric to very quickly identify good solutions, build a prototype, and then using exponential engineering, they actually create a production scale application by end of the day. And then using this, they're able to demonstrate how we can reimagine the complete workflow. The third, Nandan talked about creating an architecture that is very evolvable. Now, what we have done is, the way we have designed our IP and platforms is to make sure that we give optionality to our clients. They can pick any model they want. They can pick any agent framework they want. They can run on any AI platform. They can run on any AI cloud. And we can integrate with any AI native tool that they have partnered with. And today, in most of our production deployments, we have a number of varieties that today we are already supporting. The fourth runway is to build that enterprise context. Now, here we are doing 2 things. One, based on the work that we are already doing with most of our clients, we have built an enterprise context. Think of it like a map. Whenever I want to navigate in a city, you need a map which tells you how to go faster. So we have built this enterprise context or map that tells me how the systems work, what the infrastructure looks like, where the apps are running, where the data resides, and how they all connect. And on top of it, we're building an industry context. The industry context tells us what happens within a retail, within a bank, within a CPG context. And these are the models that we are bringing out of the box through a graph technology. And we are building these enterprise twins. And this is what will enable us to accelerate. Eventually, in most enterprises, to drive projects at scale, they need multi-speed IT governance projects so that they can onboard these AI tools at speed. They need to put these guardrails, and that's where we are building a lot of tooling that enables them to deliver these AI solutions in a very trusted manner. And all of this comes through Infosys Topaz. Now, in the IP and platforms that we have been building at Infosys, we have always kept our customer needs in mind. So if a customer comes and says, look, I want an end-to-end vertically integrated AI and agentic platform, then we use AI Next as a platform to accelerate value. Or if the customer says, look, I've already made some investments, I want a composable, modular, agentic and AI platform, which can help accelerate my own AI journey at speed, then we essentially bring the Infosys Topaz Fabric. So with a combination of these, we are able to meet most of the demands of what our enterprise customers have. Now let me talk about Topaz Fabric itself, because over the last few months, we are starting to integrate all the different IP that we have at Infosys into one common way through which we can deliver our services. Now, Topaz Fabric enables 5 key capabilities. The first is this builds on our customers' existing investments. So this is not about replacing what they have. So this works above their model layer, above their platforms, and above their enterprise systems. And Fabric can integrate with any model, any framework, anything that they have. So that's the abstraction that we have already built within this. Second, it provides close to 600 agents which have been purpose-built for different AI-first services, AI-augmented services, and also for industry-specific flows. So this is something that we bring out of the box to accelerate the journey for our customers. Third, what we have also done is we said we'll create out-of-box integration. So we have out-of-box integration with most of the coding tools. We have out-of-box integration with different models. We have out-of-box integration with business platforms like SAP, Oracle, Salesforce. We have out-of-box integration with data platforms like Snowflake and Databricks, and with enterprise platforms with ServiceNow. Now, what this enables is it enables us to deliver value to our customers quickly. Now, in all of these, it is also about bringing the enterprise context and hybrid intelligence. So the way we are doing is we are starting to build a number of different ontologies and models that comes pre-packaged as part of our Topaz Fabric. And that's something that we bring out of the box. And as we deploy it, we learn from the data, we learn from the processes. And this is how we create a closed feedback loop where the context keeps improving as it gets used over a period of time. Now, a lot of our clients also want to use a lot more predictability in the way AI is deployed. This is where we bring a lot of deterministic rules, couple it with AI models, and we also bring our own small language models in order to create a right value proposition from cost as well as from a time to market standpoint. Now, all of these is backed by a lot of deep research and patents that we have filed over the years. Now, while we are doing a lot of innovation internally inside within Infosys, we also acknowledge that there is a lot of innovation happening outside. So we are working with AI native partners in 3 different ways. One, if they have a platform that is really good at doing something, then we are leveraging it for the tasks that are relevant to enterprise. For example, Nandan talked about brownfield. So our Cognition partnership is largely to use Devin for a lot of brownfield engineering, because we find that that is really good at it. Second, we are building embedded agents that can work within our partner tooling. So today we have built agents in Fabric that can run within Cloud Code, that can run within GitHub Copilot, that can run within ServiceNow. So whichever platform the client has, these agents work within that environment. And third, we have integrated with their tooling so that we can cover the end-to-end value chain that is required to accelerate the journey. The next is also we are focused on where the industry is heading on AI, and this is where we are working with universities to do joint research. We do today on agentic technology, on also scaling and on trust with Cambridge, with Columbia and Cornell. And we are also doing this a lot more with the research centers that we have set within Infosys. This is to make sure that we continue to build on what will come next. Now, let me bring all of this to life with an example where for one of our logistics client, they were finding that the customers were able to process the orders and bookings in a lot more accelerated manner. And this was creating an issue for them. And they said, we want to be able to process these customer care services in a much more accelerated manner. This is where we took AI Next as a platform because they had already tried with multiple platforms and it didn't work. And we said, we'll use AI Next first to uncover the existing knowledge because they had rules that are very specific to each customer. So we pulled out close to about 8,000 different rules that exist there. The second innovation that we brought here is that we automated the entire workflow. So when we started, the extent of automation was about 0 to 10%. We took them to about 70% automation in their entire workflow. What this meant is the turnaround time reduced from 24 hours to about 30 minutes. The next is they also were very concerned with the sovereignty of the stack. So what we did in this case is we used the Mistral and Pixtral models to make sure that it addresses the sovereignty needs that they had. And this today supports orders or bookings from 116 different countries, and it supports 15 different languages. That's the power of what this could do. And eventually, as we started scaling, cost became an important driver. So we had to bring in a lot of optimizations to reduce the cost significantly for that customer. And this is something that we did over the last 1 year, and today this is live. Now, you can see a lot of these IP platforms as you come to our living labs, and I encourage all of you to please spend some time and experience these technologies that we are talking about. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rafi. Now for our next session on unlocking AI value in communication, media and technology, please welcome Anand Swaminathan, Segment Head, Communication, Media and Technology.
So let me share a few things in the next 10 minutes, particularly around what is driving AI demand in the communications, media, and the tech business, and what is the value that we are seeing when we work with our clients on AI. And I'll also give you one concrete example where we have delivered AI at scale. AI is no more an experimentation with many of the telecom, media, and the tech companies. They are looking at making AI a core operating model on which they want to drive customer experience, engineering and network resilience, as well as operational efficiency. So the communications, media, and the tech business spans across the semiconductor companies, the OEM platforms, to the hyperscalers, and the media and entertainment companies. There are 6 defining themes that are driving the demand for AI. First is, if you look at the telecom companies, they are facing a huge growth challenge. There are only so many consumers to buy mobiles, and each consumer can only buy so many mobiles. Then if you look at the B2B business, which has traditionally been a challenge for the telecom companies, it's not growing at a good rate for them. So with the B2B and B2C growth issues, AI is giving them a breather. Now, companies are reimagining their customer journeys using AI. And on the B2B, they are rethinking how should they go to market. In one particular case, we have done a joint venture with an Australian company called Telstra, where we own the majority stake, and we will jointly be responsible for taking the B2B non-connectivity solutions to the Australian market. And we are engaged with a variety of our telco clients doing a lot of B2B and B2C work. Sovereign and sovereign cloud is a big opportunity for the telecom companies. Now, outside of US, every country is really looking at telecom companies to provide for the AI infrastructure, to provide for data residency, to provide for cyber resilience, and to be able to operate within the country the required AI apparatus to keep the businesses going. So that's a big opportunity. Third one is around the productivity expectations. They have to bring down their unit costs, and the huge challenge for them is the traditional productivity factors are not enough, so they're looking at step change in productivity improvements, and again, here AI is a huge factor. On the other side, if you look at the tech and the media side, we are all seeing the huge spending surge that's going on with AI in terms of expanding the AI farm. But the issue has been that most of the AI is actually sold within the tech companies in terms of model building, model training, and is not really getting diffused to other verticals or other industries. So the opportunity for Infosys is actually to bring our domain knowledge across the different industries and really work with the tech companies and make sure that we are able to take the products and services and actually do the implementations. So this is one reason why many of the tech companies wants to work with Infosys, because of our native understanding of many of these industries. And finally, there is a huge race across the tech companies towards gaining AI market share, and that is opening up a lot of opportunities for us in terms of working with them on the engineering spend, as well as in enabling them in terms of creating new channels, either on the sales or on the partner side. To participate in the AI opportunity, two things are very important. One is trust with the clients, and second is the scale. So if you look at the telecom, media, and the tech business today, it is a very concentrated segment where there are very few big companies and then a long tail of small companies. So we have deliberately developed a long-standing relationship with some of the leaders in this industry. And that's evidenced by the fact that almost 60% plus of our revenues come from the top 15 clients. Now, what it means is these are the clients with whom we have the level of trust and advocacy to work with them on their AI roadmap. And with each of these clients, we actually are engaged in one or more of these opportunities today. So where we see, again, AI getting deployed and value getting created, three broad areas. First is customer experience. Now, Nandan touched upon it, talking about customer reimagination of processes. It starts with that, whether it's a B2B or a B2C. And how do we rethink the process in an agentic world? And how do we improve the customer satisfaction and customer retention? So that's a big opportunity. But along with that, it's not as simple as that, because you have a lot of legacy tech in many of these companies. Many of these tech gear there is end of life or end of support. So there is a big question about, are we going to buy new platforms, or are we going to just build the platforms? And the obvious answer now seems to be going towards building platforms in an agentic AI network framework. And that gives companies like us a huge opportunity. And we are seeing an additional improvement or an incremental of about 30% on the Net Promoter Score in many cases. So when it comes to network resilience or engineering reliability, so we have a solution framework called Infosys Smart Network Assurance, which is today part of the Topaz suite of products. Using this, working across many telcos globally, we have been able to improve the network resilience and bring down outages significantly. Now, as far as the operations are concerned, it's about really applying AI, agentic AI, in a way where we are working on a human plus agent model to drive the unit economics and be more efficient for our customers. So let me talk about one particular example where we have really scaled AI in a huge enterprise, across a large enterprise. So Liberty Global is a leading broadband and mobile, fixed mobile broadband communications company based in Europe. They operate across many European countries and with about 10 million subscribers, subscribing to their entertainment and connectivity platform. Infosys today owns and operates the entire stack of hardware, software, and services for Liberty Global. And this engagement is built on a per subscriber basis. The fee is based on per subscriber. So As the subscriber count changes, Infosys fee also changes. So what we have been able to do in a situation like this is using the Agentic AI framework, unlock value in the software stack, which is something that traditionally has not been done by many of the service companies. So when we took over this undertaking of completely owning a 10 million subscriber platform, which is a highly critical platform, the big question was how are we going to deal with hardware and software? But that is what is giving us the biggest opportunity to unlock savings today. Now, also applying a very unified agentic AI thinking for the entire platform, we have been able to improve customer experience. In one case, for example, where if you imagine a customer at home who has an option to use an Apple remote or some other device to interact with the TV, we are giving better features or richer features using the entertainment platform at Liberty through our Agentic AI framework, where through a natural language, the subscriber can speak to the television and get the shows he wants instead of doing a search with a clunky device. Now, this improves engagement of the subscriber to Liberty as a brand, as against going via some other brand. Similarly, we have improved network resilience in this company, and you can see the metrics out there, and as well as many of the other important critical elements like improving their own employee experience by bringing Agentic AI. Now, let me actually let the CEO of this company speak to you directly about his own experience in working with Infosys. Can we roll the video, please?
At Liberty Global, AI is no longer an experiment. It is becoming foundational to how we run our business and how we serve our customers across Europe. And Infosys has been a critical partner in helping us turn that ambition into reality. Together, we operate and continuously evolve the connectivity and entertainment platforms that support tens of millions of customers across our footprint. We innovate faster, and we now have the engineering capacity to move ideas into production quickly and reliably. Over the past year alone, Infosys supported more than 1,000 platform deliveries. And these included major launches like Super Search, which serves around 8 million TV customers, using advanced large language models to make content discovery conversational and intuitive across linear, on-demand, and streaming. Now, we're also using AI to fix and transform how we operate through AI programs like Agent Assist and Customer Assist, which are now deployed in multiple markets. We're enabling more self-service journeys, improving satisfaction, and reducing pressure on our care teams. As a result, we've seen things like outages reduced by 50% year on year and 60% fewer customers impacted. Our relationship spans more than 2 decades, including over a decade as a formal strategic partner, and it underpins major programs across our company. If I had to narrow it down to one thing that sets Salil and Infosys apart, it's trust. We have great mutual respect for one another, and I always know I can call them on any issue and get a straight and honest answer. And that matters to me more than anything.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anand. For our next session on unlocking AI value in manufacturing, please welcome Jasmeet Singh, Segment Head, Manufacturing.
Well, hello, everyone. I'm delighted to share with you today what we see as happening in manufacturing on AI and how are we capitalizing on this opportunity. Leading manufacturers are leveraging AI, embedding it into their product, embedding it into their workflows. They are driving agentic execution to unlock value. In fact, in our recently published Manufacturing Tech Index, 75% of the manufacturers embed AI into their enterprise strategy. Now, we see 3 big areas of opportunity for us. Number 1, everything is getting connected. And what that means is it's driving investments into smarter products, smarter operations, and as-a-service models. Now, it has been talked about before, but the industry has got a rigid tech stack. That is leading to and driving AI-led modernization. That's opportunity number 2. Now, AI lives on data. And manufacturers have a treasure trove of data. They have it in the smarter products, across operations. And so that is opportunity number 3. Now, as we look at the manufacturing value chain, from design to service, we are obviously seeing a huge amount of applicability of AI. But let me talk about the make part of AI. Now, it makes sense that I'll talk about this because this has the potential to drive operational performance improvements and agility. As an example, for a leading industrial manufacturer, we are leveraging computer vision and AI to assess product quality in their manufacturing operations. This is driving a 10% increase in throughput. Now, it's not only across the value chain. We see now that we are able to solve much more complex problems leveraging AI, and we are unlocking a lot more value. And this is cutting across also the horizontal areas like finance, HR, and legal. Now, let me make it real with a couple of examples. This is a mission-critical process at Rolls-Royce. Rolls-Royce manufactures and sells aircraft engines on a power-by-the-hour basis. Engines require maintenance. They need to come into the shop for overhaul, for maintenance, and they come to the Rolls-Royce MRO facilities for that. Every time an engine comes, it means that aircraft or the airlines could be facing an aircraft on-ground situation, and Rolls-Royce could be losing revenues. So you can understand that the imperative is to try and get the engine back on wing and not idle as quickly as possible. The process in question is the reviewing and authoring of the repair procedures of every engine that comes in. Now, each engine is unique because it has its own unique operating parameters. The multi-agentic solution that we have developed for Rolls-Royce is delivering significant benefits. A 40% reduction in engineering effort. First-time right rates are increasing from under 40% to 75%. And because we are able to accelerate the entire process, it is providing a multi-million-pound revenue uplift for Rolls-Royce. In the words of Declan, as you can see, Infosys has successfully operationalized the Agentic AI solution. It is an approved EASA, which is the regulator. Remember, this process is manual, it's highly regulated, and safety first. It is an EASA-approved European Union Aviation Safety Agency's approved solution. And that means we can now scale it across Rolls-Royce. The second example is on GE Vernova. It has been referenced before. Now, GE Vernova is a $40 billion in revenues company. It's a leader in power, wind, and electrification. They are at the forefront of the energy transition, and their aim is to electrify the world while simultaneously decarbonizing it. They selected us as the AI strategy partner for them. This is from strategy all the way to execution. The reason why they selected us was because of what they saw we were doing internally to become an AI-first company. We are able to bring together not only the AI expertise, but the knowledge that we have in product engineering, in business process, as well as in IT, seamlessly to deliver this significant transformation at scale. We have already delivered over 25 plus agents, multi-agents use cases for GE Vernova in production. Now let's hear directly from the CEO, Scott Strazik, and Justin John, who is the AI leader. Can we please play the video?
Hi, everyone. Scott Strazik, CEO of GE Vernova. And at the start, I would just say that we have a very strategic relationship with Infosys, both technically working through engineering areas, also a lot of functional support. And as we started down on our AI journey, it made a ton of sense to go to Infosys as a partner of choice. We're in the early stages with AI today. We're really looking at it as a way to amplify the potential of the company, the potential of our teams by using these tools, and as an incredible growth vehicle. And we're really happy to have Infosys along on the journey with us.
Thanks, Scott. We kicked off our Gen AI Acceleration program in August of 24. And Infosys was with us from the very beginning. They helped us form our strategy, build out our governance process, and design our AI platform. Now, most importantly, they're helping us execute on our many use cases. They've also been able to scale at the pace we're trying to move at and do it with quality talent, which is really hard in today's market. Now, for some context, we're executing over 100 use cases across GE Vernova, and Infosys is helping on many of them. The impact from these use cases has been transformative. Now, as we look forward, we've only really begun the AI transformation at the company. You know this, we talk about that a lot. And so as we scale our efforts internally, I'm really looking forward to scaling that partnership with Infosys.
No question, Justin. I appreciate your leadership every day, and for the whole Infosys team, thanks for everything you do.
Now, what a phenomenal message. We are delighted to be a partner to GE Vernova on this exciting journey. I want to leave you with 3 key takeaways from manufacturing. Number 1, the AI opportunity for manufacturing is massive, and we are already delivering value at scale. Number 2, we have the depth and breadth in not only in AI expertise, but the knowledge in product engineering, in business process, as well as IT to again drive this transformation. And lastly, as you heard from the video, we have the capabilities to drive this from AI strategy to scaled execution. Thank you.
Thank you, Jasmeet. Before we get to our next session, which will be followed by lunch, I would like to inform everyone that after lunch, we will be heading to the Infosys Living Labs for a walkthrough on our enterprise AI in action. For our next session on unlocking AI value in financial services, please welcome Dennis Gada, Segment Head, Banking and Financial Services.
Hello, everyone. First of all, I have to say I really feel at home talking about the impact of AI in financial services to an audience which is largely full of people who come from the financial services industry and understand some of the nuances and challenges. What we see in the industry today is that financial services is really at the forefront in terms of adopting and scaling with AI. And this is different, right, from some of the previous tech shifts, for example, cloud or even digitization, where there was a little bit of lag effect or catch up for the financial services industry. But this is different. Financial services firms, whether it's banks, asset and wealth managers, custodians, card providers, are really leaning in and leading with AI. And I think the reason for that is that this is one, technology and business shift that firms see, which can simultaneously bend the cost curve as well as the growth curve, and also help in managing risk and compliance, which is, of course, very important in this industry. So, this has a lot of conviction with the CXOs. As you can see, many of the quotes from the CEOs around using AI for augmented intelligence, using AI not just for efficiency, but really, driving large-scale transformation within the bank and looking beyond productivity to growth. So the good news for us with all of this is what we see is a significant increase in spend towards AI initiatives. And we are well positioned to benefit from that, both in terms of the AI first services as well as the AI augmented services that we talked about. But it also does come with some of the constraints and challenges, right? It is not a technology or a use case challenge, but more around regulations, data privacy, and most importantly, change management and adoption, which is where we see huge opportunity to continue to expand. In fact, one of the CIOs of a large banking organization we spoke to talked a similar concept to the deployment gap that Nandan mentioned. Even if AI technology were to stop evolving today, there is still so much to be done for financial services firms to benefit from and leverage what's already there. We also see a diffusion of AI use cases across all the sub-verticals, right? We are working, for example, significantly on fraud prevention in the payment space, in the consumer banking space. And this already, there was a lot of work done on machine learning models in the past, but AI provides a lot more capabilities to take it to the next level. Similarly, there's a lot of work on customer experience through contact centers, through UI, UX, but also beyond that, right? For many relationship managers in commercial banking, or advisors in asset and wealth management, or financial analysts like many of you in the room today, AI provides much more of data and insights and helps with the productivity so that these relationship managers and advisors can spend more time with their end clients. We also think that agentic commerce and payments will take off significantly. It's still at the starting point, and that will result in a lot of unlock of new business opportunities for financial services clients. All of this is, of course, on the foundation of AI-based software engineering, AI-based process orchestration, and data transformation that we spoke about earlier today. So I'll talk about one of our flagship client examples in financial services, Citizens Bank. It's a top 15 bank in the US and has grown significantly over the last several years, both organically and through acquisitions. And they've just embarked upon a program called Reimagine the Bank, where the main objective is to use the power of AI to significantly grow and expand the services that the bank provides, as well as drive efficiency. Infosys has been selected as the strategic partner to help the bank in this Reimagine the Bank initiative. In fact, just a couple of weeks back, we opened a AI innovation hub dedicated to support Citizens Bank in this initiative right here in Bangalore. And this has been an ongoing journey. We've helped Citizens Bank move 100% to the cloud, one of the few financial services institutions in the world that has achieved that. We've already built some industry-leading platforms on the cloud. And then with this foundation now, we are helping them accelerate the AI journey. Using our Topaz Fabric suite of agents, we are helping them build their own agentic AI and Gen AI platform, which will help across the bank to deploy several use cases. Some of them are already in production. For example, we see a 44% reduction in calls to the contact center generated from the mobile app. And more broadly, the bank has talked about a 450 million cost run rate reduction target as part of this Reimagine the Bank program. This is not just about cost efficiency, but this shows the power of AI to drive structural transformation in a leading bank like Citizens. Would like to play a short video to talk about the journey at Citizens Bank.
As we reimagine the bank, we're looking at transforming a lot of citizens' business processes. We set an ambitious goal to deliver over 450 million in revenue and operating cost reductions over the course of the next 2 to 3 years. I'm really excited about that and the power of AI to enable that. We've kicked off 47 different initiatives across the bank. About half of those initiatives are going to leverage AI to really deliver significant benefits for the company. We really believe that AI is going to be a game changer for the banking industry, and we want to be at the forefront of that here at Citizens. And that's why we've opened up the hub here in Bangalore. I'm so excited. We're building it from the ground up. It's really a first in the industry. This is not only a technology initiative, this is also a business initiative. So we have 75 use cases across the bank that we're using AI. Having the center of gravity here in Bangalore, we're going to be able to take advantage of the talent that there is in both the AI space, agentic space, and data spaces.
So that's an example of a first of its kind AI innovation hub right here in Bangalore for Citizens Bank, dedicated to support their Reimagine the Bank program. Now, beyond citizens, right, if you look at the financial services industry, as you know, it's the largest segment for us at Infosys. And we work with organizations across the spectrum, right, from the large global banks to the regional banks to card providers, asset and wealth management firms, and so on. And we are seeing a huge amount of increase in work that we do with them on AI. In fact, 15 of the top 25 financial services clients have selected us as the strategic partner. We work with all of them, but for 15 of them, we are specifically been selected as a strategic partner for AI services. If I take a couple of other quick examples, for our top 3 card provider, we've been working with them on the modernization journey for their core cards platform, right? This is 40 million lines of code written over the last several decades. And we are using AI to do this modernization. With that, we are seeing a 50% reduction in the time taken to do the modernization and significant efficiency benefits. The beauty of this is, with the success of this program, this particular client now wants us to do 2, 3 more of these modernizations, which were almost impossible to do in the past, right? So it just shows how much velocity this creates based on success of delivery on some of these programs. Similarly, for one of the large global wealth management firms, we are helping them build the Agentic AI platform, support a lot of initiatives for the financial advisors to get better data insights, higher productivity, so they can focus on their end clients. In summary, financial services industries, as all of you know very well, is very complex. There's a lot of legacy. There's a lot of regulatory oversight. But it has also always faced a bit of a growth and a cost challenge. And I think AI is a catalyst that can really help accelerate some of those mitigations and drive the organizations forward. At Infosys, we have deep expertise in the industry vertical. It's our largest segment. We have strong capabilities that we talked about earlier today. And also, most importantly, we have the depth of the relationships, right? Many of these organizations we've been working for more than a decade, and that gives us a lot of institutional knowledge and context, which we can use to help them on the AI journey. We really see this as a huge opportunity to bring the hybrid intelligence, human plus AI, and help these organizations become truly AI-powered and pivot to a completely new operating model for the future. There's a lot of work to be done. We are excited. We are just getting started, and we think we will be super successful. Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis. Before we proceed for lunch, everyone, a few important announcements. For departures in the evening, like I said, we'll have coaches to the airport at 4:45 and 5 p.m. If anyone needs an airport transfer earlier than that, please inform the help desk outside in the lobby. As you finish lunch, in the next 30 to 35 minutes, we will walk down to the Infosys Living Labs or take buggies, which is right next to this building, and to see enterprise AI in action. On your registration badge, you will find a number that indicates your group for the Living Labs tour. Group volunteers will be arriving here by 1:25 p.m. Request you to join the volunteers and proceed towards the Living Labs in Building 45, where you will collect your headsets and will be briefed by your group leaders for an immersive experience. Kindly access lifts to the right side of the banquet hall when you exit for the Living Labs tour. I now request everyone to proceed for lunch on my left and straight back outside this room. For people who have specifically requested for Jain food, you will find it at the counters on my right side of the hall. Thank you. See you after lunch.
team is responsible for delivering operational excellence, for our enhanced customer satisfaction experience, for mission-critical customer solutions and workloads. AI gives a lot of opportunities in that space, and one key scenario among many others where we have been using AI together with Infosys is to predict and prevent issues, and as well to speed up the support we deliver. Infosys has been a great partner in AI journey for more than 5 years now, knowing our business, and it helps us really to bring together the best of both worlds from Microsoft and Infosys, driving our AI solutions to enhance customer support experience. Microsoft AI and Infosys AI expertise leading to significant synergies and really increasing productivity by, in some areas, up to 50%, and as well really support our customer satisfaction improvement program. The impact we are seeing today is really tremendous, and we are very energized to continue that journey together with Infosys.
At Microsoft, we see AI and agentic AI as the foundation of how enterprises will operate going forward, not as isolated pilots, but as production-scale, business-critical capabilities. This is core to our Frontier Firm vision, where organizations embed AI deeply into how work gets done across the enterprise. Infosys is a strategic partner, helping bring that vision to life for our joint enterprise customers. What differentiates Infosys is their ability to operationalize Microsoft's AI solutions into secure, governed, and scalable enterprise platforms. This goes well beyond deploying tools. It's about enabling trust, integrated AI intelligence adopted at scale. Together, we are advancing Agentic AI, where intelligent agents actively orchestrate workflows across business functions, driving productivity, faster decision-making, and measurable outcomes. Infosys exemplifies the kind of partner we want to scale with, one that co-innovates, co-engineers, and delivers responsibility at enterprise scale. Together, Microsoft and Infosys are helping enterprises realize the Frontier Firm vision, embedding AI and agentic intelligence into the core of how work gets done, and enabling organizations to operate in a more intelligent, adaptive, and AI-native way.
Hello, Salil and Anand and the rest of the Infosys team. Can I first say on behalf of Telstra, thank you so much for the partnership. We are really building a stronger and stronger partnership. It's a very long partnership, more than 25 years, but the level we have brought this partnership to the last few years have been amazing. We are not an AI company, but to be a leader in connectivity and be one of the leading telcos in the world, we need to be a leader in AI. And to do that, we need partners that push us, that challenge us, but also work together with us on that vision. Move away from traditional transactional relationship with partners, including our partnership with Infosys, to a more outcome-based strategic relationship. You are one of our most important partners in the whole software and IT ecosystem. And to see how our teams start moving away from just playing with AI to make AI a daily part of the business. So for us, this partnership is so critical, not only for today, but also for the future, where we have that ambition to be a connectivity leader and also to ensure that we deliver on our Connected Future strategy. So Sunil, Anand, and the Infosys team, keep challenging us. We want to be a leader and we want the best partners, and you're one of them. Thank you so much.
Infosys is one of those partners where the results speak louder than anything I could say here. But I want to say it anyway. What I appreciate most about this partnership is that Infosys doesn't just deploy ServiceNow. You industrialize it. You take our AI capabilities, Agentic AI, Now Assist, AI Lens, security, and you build secure, governed, enterprise-scale platforms that customers actually adopt and use. And that's the part that matters. Because AI doesn't just create value sitting on the shelf. It creates value when it's put to work. And that's exactly what we're seeing together. Look at what's happening with IKEA. Infosys and ServiceNow are automating sales and service workflows, accelerating response times, and moving critical processes from manual execution to AI-led operations. That's not a pilot, that's production. That's real outcomes. We're seeing the same pattern with Tyson, Lumen, PepsiCo, and others across retail, telecom, energy, and financial services. This is what bold looks like in a partner ecosystem, not just talking about AI, but putting it to work at scale, in production, with measurable results. You are demonstrating right now what it takes to move customers from AI experimentation to real, repeatable business value. That's the kind of impact customers recognize and that earns the right to grow together. Thank you for the partnership, and I'm super excited about what lies ahead.
Hello, everyone. My team is responsible for delivering operational excellence for our enhanced customer satisfaction experience for mission-critical customer solutions and workloads. AI gives a lot of opportunities in that space, and one key scenario among many others, where we have been using AI together with Infosys, is to predict and prevent issues, and as well to speed up the support we deliver. Infosys has been a great partner in our journey for more than 5 years now, knowing our business, and it helps us really to bring together the best of both worlds from Microsoft and Infosys, driving our AI solutions to enhance customer support experience. Microsoft AI and Infosys AI expertise leading to significant synergies and really increasing productivity by, in some areas, up to 50%, and as well really support our customer satisfaction improvement program. The impact we are seeing today is really tremendous, and we are very energized to continue that journey together with Infosys.
At Microsoft, we see AI and agentic AI as the foundation of how enterprises will operate going forward, not as isolated pilots, but as production-scale, business-critical capabilities. This is core to our frontier firm vision, where organizations embed AI deeply into how work gets done across the enterprise. Infosys is a strategic partner, helping bring that vision to life for our joint enterprise customers. What differentiates Infosys is their ability to operationalize Microsoft's AI solutions into secure, governed, and scalable enterprise platforms. This goes well beyond deploying tools. It's about enabling trust, integrated AI intelligence adopted at scale. Together, we are advancing Agentic AI, where intelligent agents actively orchestrate workflows across business functions, driving productivity, faster decision-making, and measurable outcomes. Infosys exemplifies the kind of partner we want to scale with, one that co-innovates, co-engineers, and delivers responsibility at enterprise scale. Together, Microsoft and Infosys are helping enterprises realize the frontier firm vision, embedding AI and agentic intelligence into the core of how work gets done, and enabling organizations to operate in a more intelligent, adaptive, and AI-native way.
Hello, Salil and Anand and the rest of the Infosys team. Can I first say on behalf of Telstra, thank you so much for the partnership. We are really building a stronger and stronger partnership. It's a very long partnership, more than 25 years, but the level we have brought this partnership to the last few years have been amazing. We are not an AI company, but to be a leader in connectivity and be one of the leading telcos in the world, we need to be a leader in AI. And to do that, we need partners that push us, that challenge us, but also work together with us on that vision. And move away from traditional transactional relationship with partners, including our partnership with Infosys, to a more outcome-based strategic relationship. You are one of our most important partners in the whole software and IT ecosystem. And to see how our teams start moving away from just playing with AI to make AI a daily part of the business. So for us, this partnership is so critical, not only for today, but also for the future, where we have that ambition to be a connectivity leader and also to ensure that we deliver on our connected future strategy. So Sunil, Anand, and the Infosys team, keep challenging us. We want to be a leader and we want the best partners, and you're one of them. Thank you so much.
Infosys is one of those partners where the results speak louder than anything I could say here. But I want to say it anyway. What I appreciate most about this partnership is that Infosys doesn't just deploy ServiceNow. You industrialize it. You take our AI capabilities, Agentic AI, Now Assist, AI Lens, security, and you build secure, governed, enterprise-scale platforms that customers actually adopt and use. And that's the part that matters. Because AI doesn't just create value sitting on the shelf. It creates value when it's put to work. And that's exactly what we're seeing together. Look at what's happening with IKEA. Infosys and ServiceNow are automating sales and service workflows, accelerating response times, and moving critical processes from manual execution to AI-led operations. That's not a pilot. That's production. That's real outcomes. We're seeing the same pattern with Tyson, Lumen, PepsiCo, and others across retail, telecom, energy, and financial services. This is what bold looks like in a partner ecosystem, not just talking about AI, but putting it to work at scale, in production, with measurable results. You are demonstrating right now what it takes to move customers from AI experimentation to real, repeatable business value. That's the kind of impact customers recognize and that earns the right to grow together. Thank you for the partnership, and I'm super excited about what lies ahead.
Hello everyone, my team is responsible for delivering operational excellence for our enhanced customer satisfaction experience for mission-critical customer solutions and workloads. AI gives a lot of opportunities in that space, and one key scenario among many others where we have been using AI together with Infosys is to predict and prevent issues, and as well to speed up the support we deliver. Infosys has been a great partner in AI journey for more than 5 years now, knowing our business, and it helps us really to bring together the best of both worlds from Microsoft and Infosys, driving our AI solutions to enhance